This meeting is
Greetings, Internet. Welcome to Aaron Plays. I'm going to be introducing Simple Great Battles of History to my son.
Hey guys, Popcorn here, also known as Cameron. How you doing?
Yeah, he's got a weird name for his channel, Founding Popcorn. I have no idea what that means, what it's related to, why he's doing it.
My old gamer tag. Well, when I created an Xbox gamer tag, my Xbox account, it comes up with a username for it. It was Found Popcorn. Someone got it. I liked it.
So Xbox, we're now introducing you to an actual proper game. This is, as I say, Simple Great Battles of History. We are going to be using the Battle of Bagras Plain as an intro. Cameron has got an interest in Roman history, well, in history, but particularly in the Romans. And I thought, well, Great Battles of History is a good place to start. But rather than go straight into SPQR and the really detailed simulation there, which has got a 36-page rule book, I thought start with Simple Great Battles of History with a 16-page rule book, which, as I understand it, you haven't read yet.
No, not yet. I haven't had the opportunity. My fiance went home early today, so I haven't had the opportunity to. So I'll be doing that.
Okay. So we'll go through some of the basics so that will help also the viewers. And let me zoom in on the actual map here. Okay. And let's have a look at one of these African units. Okay. All right. So there's quite a few numbers on there, which for Great Battles of History mean quite a lot. The most important number is the one that's in the actual black or grayish block, that one there. You see that? That is the troop quality. That's effectively how keen they are to fight. The higher the number, the better. Some systems might have called it morale, or eagerness or whatever. In Great Battles of History, that is the troop quality.
I'm guessing the lower that is, the worse the morale, the higher it is, the better it is.
Yes. When you need to make a test on troop quality, the game system uses D10s. If it asks for a troop quality test, you've got to roll equal to or below that to pass the test. So if you were looking at one of the Celt units to the side there, it's got a troop quality of 5. So if it rolled a 5 or less, it's fine. If it rolled a 6, it would fail its actual test. Whereas this African unit's got a troop quality of 7. So
if it rolled a 1 to 7, it would be fine. If it rolled 8 or higher, it
would fail the test. Yeah. Okay, so I did say it uses a D10 in the system. So I'm just trying to remember if a 10 is a 10 or a 0 is classed as a 0, not a 10. Okay. So in other words, a 0 through to 7, this African unit would pass. So that's actually an 80% chance of passing. It would only fail on an 8 or a 9.
I guess you've got to think African pike units like that are really organised units, whereas Celts, no offence to them, are more disorganised barns of rabble units. So then my arm going to be as higher.
Well, that's the Celts is representing a war band, where as you say, the Africans is representing a phalanx, as noticed by that PH, which stands for phalanx. And the Celts has got an MI, which is medium infantry. The number in red, side there, that represents the size of the unit in actual bodies. Now, in Simple Great Battles of History, it doesn't really have that much effect. In fact, I think it has 0 effect. In the Great Battles of History, that would have an effect in the game. So notice that he's got a size 10, whereas that Celt unit's got a size of 5. Approximately what that represents, each point is about 100 men. So you could say that African unit is 1,000 blokes, whereas the Celt unit is 500 blokes.
So the same with that African elephant unit up there, that's like 500 elephants. or
No,
like-
no. For elephants, it's completely different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to fit 500 elephants into one of these mixes. That's a lot of elephants.
So that's true.
So no. Yeah, the size for elephants, that is about 5 elephants.
Okay. Oh, so the large, huge units are with the red counters pretty much one unit.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
That's
so the red size, black in the grey box there is the troop quality. So elephants have got quite a low troop quality. The number in the actual black writing next to the grey and white and the black and white, that is the movement value. So you've got, on the Celt unit, it's got 5 movement points. The elephant's got 7. And the African phalanx has got 2 numbers there. It's got a 4 and a 5.
I'm assuming that probably depends on what formation they're in.
Again, I believe for the simple great battles of history, you're only actually going to be looking at the 5 or the 4. I'll have to define, double check on that. Yeah. Also notice the African phalanx is spread over 2 hexes, so it moves as such. Okay, and if it wanted to turn its facing, you would actually have to move it. Let me see how this actually rotate to the right and then go that way. Whereas the Celts, if it turns to the right, actually turns within the hex.
Oh, wow.
You with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put those back and change the word moved there. Okay, so that's the basic information. Also notice in the little corner here, the way it says 0, that's how many hits the unit's taken. And that's hits on its troop quality.
I'm assuming you mean the number on the bottom left.
The little number in the bottom corner there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that one there, that one there. Okay. As the unit takes hits, and it approaches its troop quality, if that number ever goes over its troop quality, the unit is broken.
Okay, so if that number reaches 7 for the
No, 8.
8 for for the African pike unit, it's dead.
Well, no, well, it's actually true. In the great battles of history, no, it routs. In this game, the simple great battles of history, yeah, it is destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no routing in the simple great battles. Okay. And hits are accumulated by contact with the enemy. Okay. It's not representing actually guys necessarily dying. It's representing the formation starting to break up.
Okay.
Okay. And once that number is higher than that, the actual formation is shattered in the simple.
Okay.
Let me see if I can flip the unit over. Should be able to. Can't. Okay, place for out, isn't it? On it rallied. Right, okay, that's a toggle. Okay, that's what in the actual physical board game, you would, as a unit moved, you would actually flip it over. I suppose in this one, because it has the little move marker on there, you don't need to do that. So you don't need to flip the counters over. Okay, and I could remove the marked moved. Right, so that's the counters. This one here is a leader.
Yeah.
And as you can see, there's lots of numbers on the leader.
Yeah, it's got stars and it's got numbers and it's got a fancy helmet.
All right. Okay. So I just double checked on the movement. The actual 5 for the phalanx is ignored. So they actually got 4 in simple great battles of history. Okay. The 5 is ignored for the simple great battles. Now, moving on to the general. for the some of those numbers are also ignored for simple great battles. The leader's name at the top, obviously that's important. And everything down this side where you've got the 6, the 3, and the 1, okay, the red 6, the 3, and the 1, they are ignored or not used. The important one is that one and the 6 next to it, so the 2 6s. The first 6 is the command range in hexes, and the second one is their initiative, how keen they are and apt they are to get things moving.
Okay.
The number in the grey box is not used either. So pretty much
all the numbers.
This, all down that side, aren't used in simple great history. The only ones we're looking at is that one and the one next to it, the 6 and 6. Okay.
Yeah.
And that shows, so if we bring a Roman tribune down, so this is a comparison. Okay. So the Roman tribune has got a command range of 4 hexes, and he's got an initiative of 3.
Not as good.
So not as good. Okay. Whereas the Roman overall commander, Regulus, he's 5/5, so he's not too bad.
Okay. It's not as good as I think I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Xanthippus. He was a Greek mercenary.
Okay.
Who inspired the Carthaginians. This particular battle is actually fought in the First Punic War, so this is before the time of Hannibal.
What was the First Punic War over? Wasn't that over?
They were mainly fighting over Sicily, though. This battle's in Africa. A Roman invasion of Africa, which was ill-fated historically. Okay.
Was it?
Now notice this here is the cavalry, Carthaginian cavalry. So it's got a size of 4, troop quality 6, movement of 8. HC stands for heavy cavalry, LI for light infantry, EL for elephants. The only other thing on the counters is on the elephants, you've got this J for javelin.
Yeah.
Okay. Some light infantry have got J's as well for javelins as well. Say again?
On the elephant unit, there's an A next to the J.
That's an arch. I don't think that's actually used in this either.
Okay.
The A, yeah, that gives them archery reaction fire because of the guys in the actual tower.
Well, that's probably not.
I don't think they actually. Elephants units with an A indicator have elephant screen missile capability, which allows elephant units to perform a reaction fire only. Ignore any other missile indicators on the counter. So it's the other way around. So you ignore the J on the elephant using the A, which is a missile screen. Okay. All right. So let me just zoom the map out a bit. So that's the full Carthaginian army. That's the Roman army displayed against them. So the main difference, well, the big difference between simple great battles and the great battles is obviously it's simpler, hence the simple. It also doesn't use a lot of the detailed rules for the actual weapon types for the different armies. So you've still got the different unit types for the Romans. You've got the legionaries, you've still got the heavy infantry, the phalanxes and such forth. But you don't have this. It's less die rolls. You don't roll for every missile shot. You don't roll for other things as well that would normally occur, reaction fires and such forth. It just simplifies it, and you don't have things like trumping and so on. So, which we'll go through when I do a full rules explanation. So the way the sequence of play works is the scenario will define who goes first, and then you get to activate a formation. So each of the sides has different formations. So this might have a heavy infantry formation, a medium infantry formation, an elephant formation, and the Romans will have a lights formation, maybe Astartes formation, Princeps and Triarii and so on. And you activate your forces by formation. Whichever side goes first will activate a formation, then the opponent will activate a formation, and you keep alternating as you go through.
Okay.
So there's no turns as such. Each side activates formation, and then the other side activates a formation. However, each side also has a certain amount of seizure attempts. You can actually try to have another go. So in other words, say I was playing the Carthaginians, I activated the elephants, and then I really wanted my phalanx to move, I could do a turn seizure and try to make sure I get another turn. And that will be dependent on my commander's rating to see if he'll get a turn seizure. But there's only so many of these I have throughout the entire game. And once I use them all up, they're gone.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, so effectively in a player's turn, you get an activation phase. So the active player may do one of the following. You can activate one or more formations and their formation commanders. And notice it says one or more formations. That depends on the actual battle and and how good the commander is if you can activate multiple formations. Yeah. Or you can move your overall commander, or you can pass. If you do activate a formation, you do a few other little steps. You can then move and missile fire. You can initiate shock combat. That's where they're actually hitting each other with swords and shields. And then you do an army withdrawal check. And then it flips over to your opponent. And he will have a go.
So I could either, for example, move my commander, but I couldn't then do a formation movement attack, for example. Or I could do
you can move your overall commander, or you activate a formation.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's a quick overview. I mean, obviously, we're going to go into a lot more detail, and then hopefully you can read the rules before we actually start to play. But we will go through it and explaining the rules to the other viewers as we're playing. But that's just a quick overview. Hopefully, we'll get a few people watching this, see and inspire a few interest. And once we play a few games of Simple Great Battles, if you want to then move into a bit more depth, we can do so. The advantage of Simple Great Battles is it can cover anything from Alexander right the way through to the latter Roman period with the same set of rules. Okay. Whereas if you want to play the great battles of history using there's the Alexander, there's a set of rules for Alexander, there's a set of rules for SPQR, and there's a separate rule for Caesar. They are utterly different between them. So you get a bit more detail of the Romans in all of the Greek systems and such forth in the more detailed game, but you have to learn a separate set of rules for each one. Whereas using this system, you learn one set of rules and you can play pretty much at least 700 years of history.
Okay.
If not more. So,
good.
So that's it. So what's your initial thoughts?
Interesting. I'm looking forward to diving in. They're very complicated with the numbers, sure, but that'll be easy to make sense of as time goes on throughout the games. But yeah, the initial thoughts, they're good. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, the next question would be, this scenario is meant to be very, very pro-Carthaginian. However, to balance it up, there is an option to increase the Roman cavalry allotment because they haven't brought their allied cavalry with them. Whereas in the actual module, it says to balance it up a bit, give the Romans their allied cavalry. It's still going to be tough for the Romans with the allied cavalry, but they can use it. So my question to you now, and moving forward, do you want to play the Carthaginians or do you want to play the Romans with the extra cavalry?
I have to say, I leave up to a dice roll, 50-50.
Okay, so roll a d10 then, and odds you play the Romans.
Odds are 1 to 5 I play as the Carthaginians, 6 to 10 I play as the Romans. 4 I play as the Carthaginians.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. So we'll start doing that in the next video. So until next time, bye from me.
And ciao for now for me.
Okay, so hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and any comments we much appreciated. Bye, internet.